Welcome to Baggy TV. Welcome back to my channel. How you all doing? How you all doing? 4 people in the chat. Welcome to the channel. Let me know in the comments who you are. I know this stream was posted late. I normally post my streams a couple of hours before I broadcast them, but I had to run some errands and I came a little bit late, so yeah, I had to do it quite quickly. Thomas, welcome. Welcome, Thomas. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you're doing well. Listen, today's topic is one that is, I don't know how to describe it. Hajar Abid, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. I just opened another window by accident. Welcome to the stream, Hajar. Welcome. I see you're using your emojis. Ronald Carlton. Wow, it's been a while, mate. It's been a while. I haven't seen you on here for ages. It's been a long, long time, man. Welcome back to Baggy TV. Welcome back, Ronald. Welcome back. Dominic, welcome. Hey, we're getting people in. Welcome all to the stream. Listen, lads. Today we're talking about Erling Haaland, but the lack of Erling Haaland, if I can put it that way, because it's been reported by a few sources that he ain't coming in. Abdul Aziz, how are you, Habibi? Abdul Aziz, I made a video especially for you, because I know I haven't been doing videos on Baggy TV too, so I made one for you. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you haven't, go check it out on Baggy TV too. I made a video talking about Hakim Ziyech and some of the stories regarding him. Now it's in Arabic, so if you're an Arabic viewer, you can subscribe to Baggy TV too and watch my content in Arabic. Baggy TV is English. Baggy TV 2 is in Arabic. So Abdul Aziz, hope you've enjoyed it. You've enjoyed it. Thank you. Dominic, yeah, mate. I'm happy you're here. There was news about. Listen, Thomas. We'll be talking about this, but not so sure. Hey, listen. Third time, fourth time, 100th time. You're always welcome on the channel. Every one of you is always welcome on Baggy TV. Daniel Knight, welcome. Listen, I can spend the whole day just saying welcome to everyone. Or I can get on with this. I'm going to get on with this. Appreciate all your support. Lads. Listen. Aqil. I gotta say big up to Aqil. How are you, mate? Yeah, Aqil. Well, welcome to Baggy TV. Welcome to the channel. Listen, lads. Second bid. First one hasn't gone through, and they're talking about a second bid. They're talking about a third bid. They're talking about Chelsea are trying to table money. Are trying to get intermediate. What's the word? People in between. I can't pronounce it. Intermediaries. Trying to get intermediaries between us and Dortmund. Why do we need intermediaries? We've got a relationship with Dortmund. We got Pulisic from them just a couple of seasons back. We have a good relationship with Dortmund. We have communication with Dortmund. We have a good relationship with Dortmund. So why are we getting people to come in between to help with this deal? I don't think there is any of that. I don't think there is anybody needed to come in to help us make this deal for Erling Haaland. I think the fact that Chelsea haven't signed him yet is because there's an issue. There is a problem. The fact that the reports today are talking about us signing Lua from Bayern Munich for 50 million is saying something. I think the fact that Griezmann was mentioned, Lukaku was mentioned, a lot of names were mentioned when really and truly the only person we should be looking at is Erling Haaland. It's saying something. It's saying that this is not a deal that could go through. Do you support a swap deal between... No, I don't. I don't, Dominic. I don't support this. I've heard about this. I've read about this. I don't support it, and I don't really see the need for it. I don't really think Coleman is anything special. I think the fact that Odoi is one of our boys, and he's been at the club for a while now, since he was a little lad. And he's contributed at different levels for Chelsea, and now he's breaking through at the senior level. And lads, don't forget, Odoi had a serious injury. And he's back from that injury, and he has put in some good performances last season. He hasn't had a lot of time on the pitch. The time he's had on the pitch, he's played all right. Whereas Coleman is not proven in the Premier League. He doesn't have the experience that Odoi has in the Premier League. So I wouldn't be looking into that. And to be honest, I don't really see that as being a valid story. I think it's just one of them stories that is to generate sales and to generate revenue for different papers and journalists and whatnot. If we are going to get rid of Odoi, and that's a possibility, if we, for Chelsea to sell him to generate some monies to get somebody else, and they're not going to do it for this guy, not for Coleman. I think with Sancho it was a possibility. Before he signed for Man United, that was a possibility. A player with a potentially better skill set, better experience. He's done more for his age, maybe, but for Coleman, I don't see it. Me personally, I mean, maybe because I don't really rate that guy a lot higher than I do Odoi. I don't think it's a viable thing. In regards to the Erling Haaland thing and the lower thing, what's Carlton saying? Latest from the top deal for anybody, I think we may be getting held. No, I agree with the first part. We don't need swap deals, but I don't think any club can hold Chelsea to ransom. Now we have too much power for that to happen, and a lot of the big clubs are currently suffering financially. So for us, no, I don't think so. Swap deals. A lot of clubs can only do swap deals because they don't have finances to bring players in. So that's all they can do. They can bring in swap deals to try to get some new faces in the club. Some. And you saw some of the big clubs. They're going for players out of contract, like Barcelona going for Aguero and for Memphis Depay. Why don't? Hey, listen. No comment is daft. Ronald, no comment is daft. It's good for us to think out loud. And sometimes when you read something, you need to hear it out loud before you can actually contemplate and understand what this could be. So now, don't worry about it, mate. Why don't Chelsea put the money down? Exactly, Philip. Exactly. Because there's a problem. There is a problem. Because Chelsea do have the money. Okay? Chelsea do have the money. No, Thomas, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. If we were doing that, Erling Haaland would be here. But that's the thing, we're not doing it. And why aren't we doing it? That's what's bugging me right now. Because Chelsea are not paying the money. Because right now, no journalist can confirm that Chelsea have put a bid in. Hey, Chelsea Perspective. Always happy to see you in the chat. Always happy to see you in the chat. If you get time later on, jump on. Jump on. Ilyas, Habibi, how are you? Ilyas, have you seen my video on Baggy TV too? I know you got a lot of work, but if you get time, go check it out. Go check it out. And if you've got time to jump on here, love to have you on. No, I mean, what's that? No, I mean, we are just... I don't think so. If you mean we are trying to haggle, yeah, possibly. If you mean we are trying to haggle, Thomas, possibly. What's the Dwarky saying? Too much media nonsense. Ignore German and Italian media. And there is a story saying that they are trying to offload Werner. I don't know, Sudwaki, I don't know, man. Why would they be trying to do that? I think, nah, no, I don't think so, Sudwaki. I don't think so. And to be honest, I haven't seen these stories. If you can send them to me in a DM, I'd have a look at them. Welcome to the stream. If Chelsea put the money down on the table, depends how you look at it, Philip. It depends how you look at it. If you look at it from a financial sense, yeah. On many levels. And if you look at it from a footballing sense, maybe no, because Dortmund did get money in from Sancho this season, and maybe they want to keep their standard high by achieving something, maybe qualification for the Champions League again this season, maybe a good one in the Champions League this season, and for them to have Haaland on the books for another season, it will do that for them. Will help them do that. So from a footballing sense, keeping him for another season makes sense. From a financial point of view, no. And you know what? Dortmund don't look at things the same way that a lot of different clubs do. They want to make money, but they're happy to make an average amount. They're not, they're content with an average amount. So, don't be surprised to see Dortmund do what you refer to as being a stupid, because like I said, it's a perception thing, and maybe they will do this. To sell, yeah. Have I heard about Harry Kane coming to Chelsea? Yeah, I have, and look, Harry Kane is going to have to kick up a fuss. And it looks like he might be doing that, because apparently he ain't going to turn up for training after he's back from his vacation. Apparently. That's what the media is saying. But how does the media know what Harry Kane is going to do? Has he been speaking to people? I don't know. But if he kicks up a fuss and forces Tottenham's hand to sell him, will it be Chelsea? Will it be Man City? I think it's more likely to be Man City, because they will probably not allow him to come to Chelsea. They'll allow him to leave maybe if the right bid is coming through, but for them to allow him to go to Chelsea, I can't see that. But yeah, I have heard of that story. Should focus on only two. Well, I agree with the Haaland bit. The Declan Rice bit, I'll only if it's at the right price. At the right price. Listen, lads, I've put the link in the pinned comment. If anybody wants to jump on, you're more than welcome to do so. A lot of the regulars are not turning up these days. Not sure why. But the link is there. Anyone wants to jump in. Are we really going after Elias? Listen. listen. I think Lewandowski is a great player. Oh, Thomas, if you gotta go, you gotta go. But thanks for popping by and stopping by. I appreciate you, mate. I appreciate you, Thomas. And if you can come back on, love to have you back on. Elias, Robert Lewandowski has scored goals throughout his career. He has been a prolific goal-scoring machine throughout his career, and he will continue to do so up until he retires from club football or international football. He's a machine. That's all he knows how to do. Scoring goals for him is not a chore; it's a habit. It's the way that he was. It's the way that he plays his football. So, coming to Chelsea for us, looking at what these young athletes are able to do at these ages, mid-30s, 33, 34, 35, Lewandowski will still be around for a good couple of seasons for Chelsea. So if we pay 50 million for the man, or thereabouts, I'll be happy with that. I'll be content with that. Because he will give us 2 seasons of double figures in regards to goals. And he will not only score, but he will also contribute to creating opportunities, which Chelsea are good at doing anyway. But with him being able to finish the chances that we create, being a finisher that he is, I can only see good things coming from the signing if we do get him. Now, there's a flip side to that. Because who's going to be our challenger next season for Erling Haaland? Who? Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Paris Saint-Germain. These are the clubs, Man City. These are the clubs that are going to be on the case of Erling Haaland next season should he stay. And that is going to be, wow. Mike Frank. Thank you for your donation, Mike Frank. £5 for Mike Frank, a super sticker. Appreciate you, mate. Appreciate your support. Love to see it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for doing that. The flip side. The flip side to Lewandowski being bought by Chelsea, it means that Bayern Munich will have £50 million that we gave them to spend on the Erling Haaland release clause next season, which is £64 million, 75 million euros or thereabouts. So we're paying Bayern Munich to get Erling Haaland next season. Philip saying Real Madrid. Yeah, he wants to go to Real Madrid. Philip Smith, thanks for popping by. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you, mate. I'll catch you later. Have a good one, Philip. Thank you. So, us buying Lua will also enable Bayern Munich to buy Haaland next season. Do you see that? Do you see the other side of this transaction? Because Bayern Munich would want to replace a goal-scoring machine with another goal-scoring machine, a younger version. And Erling Haaland does that for them. So, us doing this transaction will enable one of our competitors to secure the signature of the striker that we want. So there is a downside to it. The goal scoring aspect, the possibility of him coming to Chelsea and scoring goals for us, positive aspect. The flip side is he may be able to. That transaction will enable Bayern Munich to buy the player that we want with our money next season. So that's the only negative part to it. Listen, lads, why aren't you coming on? Click on this link. I want to see some of you boys talking in the panel. So jump on Jump on. Let me hear what you guys have to say, because it's not only about me what I'm saying. I want to know what you guys are saying. So let me know what you guys think. What you guys think about this whole aspect. Oh, I just seen the sticker by Mike Frank. Control, was it that joystick? It's a controller. It's a game controller with a broken end. Hey, listen, Mike Frank. I hope it's all right. I hope you're all right. Who do I have here? I've got Jamie. Jamie is jumping on. Oh, Jamie, flashing images, man. What's up with that?
How you getting on, buddy?
Yo, Jamie, can you change the flashing images?
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, Jamie. How are you, mate?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good. Tell me, what's your thoughts on this situation with Erling Haaland and Lewandowski? What's your thoughts on this?
Well, my thought on the whole situation, right, is the fact that Lewandowski, he's a great player. 50 million is it's a bargain for him, to be honest with you. I know it's only 2 seasons, but it's a bargain. Now, I do think we should go for Haaland, because a player like that is a dime a dozen. Like, you know, it's not often we see players like him, and for so cheap next season. I think what the club should do is really try to make a deal with them for next season. Leave him at the club for a season, but also secure the deal for next season. I think that needs to be done.
So pay the fee and leave him at Dortmund. Is that what you're saying?
Loan him back for the season.
Loan him back. Okay, like we did with Pulisic, basically.
Yeah, basically. Loan him out for the season, and because they don't want to get him rid of him this season. They know they're not going to be able to hold him next season. So they want to keep him this season. So I think a nice loan back to them for the season, and then we have our man next season. Do you know?
Yeah. No. It makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, because it ticks all the boxes for us and for them.
Exactly.
Because we want to keep him. We want to sign the lad. So they want to keep him for another season. So here's 120 million. 120 million. Keep him. You pay his wages for the season. You can keep him. Yeah. But next season we're taking him for that fee, rather than you having to sell him for £64 million, which is his release clause. It makes sense, and maybe because right now we're all kind of confused to why Chelsea haven't tabled the bid for the man. Maybe that's what is being worked out. An agreement of this nature that is not so clear cut, and it needs a lot in regards to the contract being drawn up, the deal being struck. How is that going to affect Mino Rayola's commission? Is he going to get a 10% commission, or is he going to get a full commission? Well, that's going to be a tricky one.
Yeah, but like what we've all heard is that he's interested in joining Chelsea. And the thing about it is, if he's interested, but he looks like he also wants to stay the season. Like, don't get me wrong, you can see from his Twitter posts that he does want to stay the season. He's kind of concentrated. So I think it just ticks all the boxes for himself as well, to be honest with you. He wants that Premier League move. But he also wants to concentrate on his football for this season. So I think it just ticks all the boxes for himself. I've said it for a while, and I'm hoping that's what they do, because we can't miss out on a player like Haaland. Like, we just can't. It's just can't. That can't happen. Like, that's, as I said, that's Lionel Messi and Ronaldo of the future. Like, him and Mbappe are the future stars. Like, and that's what we're hoping, is we can grab one of those and just be a team for the next 10, 12 years, as we already are. Like,
yeah, no, I think Chelsea do have options, and they also have they have the finances. I've got CFC Gem coming on. CFC Gem, how are you, my man?
Yeah, not bad. Sorry if you can hear the fan. I've got it on at the moment. I'm too hot.
I've got a fan in the background as well, and I've got my window open, so you're gonna hear cars going by. Fan.
It's one of them days, isn't it?
It is what it is, and also making sure we're hydrated the whole time. So, for those of you who are not in the UK, we are having a hot day today. It's been a hot day. I wanna address this comment here, and Jem, maybe you can kick us off with your response to this. Do Chelsea need a striker? I mean, we scored 6 goals against Peterborough, and so do we need to get a striker, or are we good to go?
I think we do need a striker. We need someone that is clinical. I think that's the word. I think we haven't got I don't think we've got the a striker that's clinical enough to consistently provide us with double-digit goals. I think Timo Werner could possibly do it, but that's yet to be proven. I think Abrosia is. I'm happy that he signed a long-term contract and he's still very young, but you can't be putting that kind of pressure on an individual and ask him to come in and do a job. And we tried to do that with Tammy Abraham, if you remember. Not this season just gone, but the season before, he was leading the line and he started very well. You know, he scored, I think, 15 or 16 goals all season, but a lot of them goals were scored in the first half of the season, and then he just sort of dived off and he wasn't really, effective for the sort of later end of that period. And it's important that if we're going to compete, if we're going to challenge in all competitions, that we have a clinical someone leading that line. I do agree that you need others to contribute. I think it's important. I think any championship team needs to have other goal scorers. You know, when you look at the old Chelsea's, you had the Pedros, the Hazards, Fabregases, Oscars, Matas, like all these guys were contributing to goals, and I think it's important that you do have that, but we haven't got an out-and-out goal scorer at the moment, and that's something we need to sort.
Yeah, I wanna give you a scenario, and this is for you, Jamie and Jem. Both of you can come back on this. We don't buy a striker. We may do some sort of deal with like we talked about, me and you, Jamie, with Haaland, coming in next window, etc., etc. So we don't buy a striker. Now, Tammy Abraham, his contract I think expires 2023, if I'm not mistaken. With the extension, it's 2023. His contract expires. So we have him for this season and the next one. Now, or is it no? Isn't it?
No, it's just next. It's just this one. It's just this one. I think. Yeah, I think it's just this one. Yeah.
So if we don't hold on a second, no, it said 20. No, this one and the next one. I think he's.
Is it the end of 2023?
I think in the summer. I think he'll be going in the summer. So if we sell him now, we'll get more money for him now than we would next year, because he'll have a year on his contract.
Yeah.
But if Tammy Abraham decides not to sign an extension, Tammy Abraham will stay because he has to, because we're going to keep him, but he doesn't sign an extension. Should we keep him and cut our losses with him, and we've got whatever we get for him next season, we get for him, but keep him, force him to stay another season if we are unable to get a striker, or should we go for the second tier options that are out there, the Danny Ings and whatnot, and let Tammy Abraham go? Where do you guys stand on this? Should we get a second tier? If we can't get a tier 1 striker, should we get a second tier? And this is for both of you, Jamie and Jim.
Well, I will do. Do you mind if I go first?
Yeah, go
ahead, mate. Go ahead.
Well, the thing about it is, right, with Tammy Abraham, I think we've really messed up with himself and Callum Hudson-Odoi, because to be fair, like, you've seen the whole situation with offering himself and Callum Hudson-Odoi for Holland, seeing if they would take it. Now, who would want to play for a team that looks like they don't want him, And the same in the Champions League. It kind of made him look like he doesn't want to be there, and it makes him feel like he's just not wanted. So I don't think he'll want to stay in general, and that's the problem. I think they really messed up in that regard. Like, I love Tammy Abraham. I've always loved him. I seen him in Aston Villa. I really kept track of him at Aston Villa. And I think he's a quality striker. I honestly don't see why we don't start him up with Werner. But the fact is, he's not going to stay, So Danny Ings would be a good shout, because I just don't see Tammy staying.
All right, fair enough. Before Jim, before you jumping in, Loco Costa, I believe one of the first 1,000 subscribers, 1,500 subscribers. You've been with the channel for a long time, Loco Costa. Appreciate you. And thank you for joining the Baggy crew. We've hit 10. We've hit 10 members on the Baggy Crew. Is it 10 or 11? I lost count. So welcome to the crew. Appreciate you and thank you for your support, Loco Costa. Jim,
Yes.
Tammy Abraham wasn't being played. He wasn't being played, and it seemed like Tuchel didn't fancy him. I mean, he wasn't even picking him on the bench for quite a few games. So what's your thoughts, man? Tell me your thoughts.
I think if we don't get a Haaland, I still think we need a Tammy and sort of a tier 2 striker at the same time. I think the reason for that is that I think we need to have competition. We need to have options for different games, different types of players, etc. It's going to be a tough season. I think we should keep Tammy Abraham, but then I would definitely look to bring in. If we're looking at tier 2, I'd bring in a Danny Ings, and the reason I say that is because with a Danny Ings, I think he scores. If you look at the chances that Werner missed last season, the 20-odd big chances that he had in them games, does Danny Ings miss them chances? I don't think he does.
I don't think so. I don't think he does. No.
So if he's not missing them, then he's hitting double digits. What is it that we need at our football club? Someone that can score goals and be clinical when we're not always having the greatest of games. When we're having, we're up against a low block team that's not giving us a lot of space on the ball a lot of time. We have that one split moment where it lands to someone and you need them to just put it in the back of the net. That's the kind of clinical striker we need. And I think Danny Ings has proven that he can score 18, 19 odd goals in the Premier League.
He's been doing it, and I think with the chances that we're creating, he'll be able to do a lot more. Listen, lads, in the chat, I am posting you a link. This link is for GNA TV. All right, this link here in the chat is for GNA TV. This is a very, very good Chelsea fan channel. All right, if you guys want to go quickly click on that and click subscribe and get back in here, I'd appreciate it because this channel has a lot of good content. And Jim is one of the guys on there. I'm not sure if he owns the channel, but I know he's a big guy on that channel.
Yeah.
So click on that, subscribe to that channel, and you will get some good content on that channel. Listen, do you guys think? I mean, second tier. All right, we'll go for second tier. But what about the other options that have been discussed? I mean, we've talked about the positives and the negatives in regards to all of them. But Lewandowski, Griezmann, Lukaku. Should we try to push for those? I mean, I know each one of these players has his own situation. Apparently Inter Milan don't want to sell, and they don't need to sell now that they got rid of Achraf Hakimi. In regards to Lua, Bayern Munich would probably benefit from selling him to Chelsea because they'll take that money and then go ahead and buy Erling Haaland. So we're giving them money to buy Erling Haaland with. So that might be a problematic. And Griezmann, his wages. But should we try to work on someone along those lines, or should we really focus on tier 2? Because me personally, I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm thinking maybe Timo Werner can do a job for us with Havertz. Keep Tammy. What's the score with Batshuayi? What's he at?
Get rid of him.
Yeah,
there is no score with him. I think he needs to I just think he just needs to leave. Really, I don't think he's good enough to really be on the bench for us. Especially in.
Has his contract expired? Does he have one more year? I think he either has one more year or it's expired.
Yeah, but I think he's got. I don't know. I'm not even too sure, but he's not good enough. And to answer your question about if not Haaland, Lukaku, or look. I said it earlier with Lewandowski. I don't think you're getting him for 50 million. I just really don't. Not on the. I know he's getting. Sure. I get the factor of his age, 32 going on to 33, but the guy's still hitting some high level numbers in the Bundesliga, and that's gonna cost. That's definitely gonna cost, especially a team like Chelsea, who Bayern Munich already know are looking. Chelsea are looking at someone like Haaland and looking to pay nearly 150 bills for him. They're going to take advantage of that. That's just what it is. And with Lukaku, I feel with Lukaku, it's a fun because it's one of the ones that ain't blowing away. But if we just lay the goddamn money for Lukaku, 100 odd mil, I reckon Inter would take it. And I really do think that's just purely because of the financial aspects. And I think Lukaku would want to play for Chelsea. as well. So I would go for it. If not, and then if not him, then a Danny Ings. So.
All right. A new subscriber on my stream, Prince Adakwa. Adakwa is how you pronounce your name? Prince Adakwa?
Prince.
What? Prince, welcome to the stream.
Prince.
Tell us a bit about where you're from and give me your opinion, mate. Prince, the audio is not clear. Prince, your audio ain't clear, mate. You might want to check it out.
Prince has always got problems. He was on my channel not long ago. Same thing.
Oh,
before, mate. Sort that Wi-Fi out, mate. Yeah. Sort that Wi-Fi out.
Yeah. We can now. Go ahead, Prince.
Yeah. Yes, I was just saying. Very close to.
Can't hear you.
Nah, Prince, I'm sorry, mate. Sort out your connection, and you're welcome to come back. All right, mate. Sort out your connection and come back. No worries, Prince. Thanks for trying anyway. I'm sorry. I hate doing that to people, but it's just.
I've done the same. I've done the same thing, to be fair.
Chelsea perspective, Louis for 4.
Is a bit too much for me. Why is it too much? Why is that too much?
Listen, Chelsea perspective. Firstly, big up to you for joining the Baggy Crew. You joined off stream. I didn't get notification, so you joined off stream. Big up to you for joining. And why? I'm reluctant to see why he's not valued that. I mean, I think there'll be more. 60, 70, 50. I think it's a good price for the man, especially for the return that you're going to get from him. The goal scoring return.
If Ben White's being bought for 50 million from Arsenal, then Lewandowski 50 million is not a lot of money, guys. Like, let's put some context to this. You're not going to get Lewandowski for 30 million. Like, it's just never going to happen. The guy's still scoring unbelievable numbers in the Bundesliga.
Now, to be fair, I do think Griezmann will be a good shout. And the reason why I say that is because, first of all, it's a loan, right? We can get him on loan. That's what they're kind of looking for. If we can get Griezmann on loan for a season, we'll be fine. Like, if you're looking at the wage and all that, like, you'll be spending that wage and the other players anyways. But we should. The main person we always obviously want is Haaland. Like, he's the king in this situation. Like, he's everyone's dream player. And I think they should really, before checking out other players, they should really just put their head down and try to get this man. Like, they really have to.
I want to do what I did for GNA TV. How do I get this? Listen, people in the chat, we're feeling generous today. This is a link to another YouTube channel that makes great content. This is Chelsea Perspectives YouTube channel. Click on this link, lads. If you haven't subscribed, go click on that link, subscribe, and come back, because there's some great content on the Chelsea Perspective. Different type of content. He's got a scouting for Chelsea series currently on his channel, and there's some good stuff on there. I know he's asked me to go on. Not had time to do it, and I will get around to it, Kachilla. I promise. So yeah, click on that link, subscribe to Chelsea Perspective, and come back to Baggy TV. Jamie, so do you think we've sold our players for too cheap? Margehi, Tammy, Fukaya Tomori, and the rest. Do you think we sold them for too cheap? If Ben White is worth 50?
Tomori's he's a player I always valued, to be honest with you. Tomori's always a player I valued. When I heard there was a release clause on that man, I was shocked. I don't understand. I don't know who was smart enough to put a price on him. Like, I honestly don't. I think he's going to be quality. I was shocked that England didn't call him up, to be honest with you. I think he's a quality player, and I think he would have. I think he would have nearly made our starting lineup this season if we had him. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. I think Tuchel would have really loved to have him in the team, because the way Tomori plays, I think suits Tuchel down to a T. Well, what do you think, Jim?
What with Tomori?
Yeah.
It's one of them ones where I would have liked Tomori I would have liked Tomori to stay on. I think he would have given us a different option in terms of his defensive aspect, the way he plays the game, and yeah, I think that in the way Tuchel likes to play it probably would have brought the best out of him. You know, he likes to distribute the ball, he likes moving forward with the ball. Yeah, I think he would have been a good addition, but you know, we've got too many of them. That's the problem, Baggy. You know, we've got too many top talented youngsters, and unfortunately, some of them we have to let them go. You know, make a bit of money.
Yeah.
And if we're going to use it for the right thing, like a Haaland or someone else, then we just have to take it on the chin, mate. Really.
All right. Another youngster, Armando Broja,
Yeah.
signed a 5-year deal. Could he have a breakout season this season with the situation we're in?
I don't really want us to put the pressure on them, to be able to do that. I think they slowly need to be bedded in. I think he should play in cup games. I think he should be in the squad. You know, Giroud's gone now, so you know Giroud's moved on. We need at least 3 strikers, don't we? Really. So if we are going to get a Haaland, even if we do get a Haaland, you're still going to want a second and a third, whether it be Tammy staying or like a Broja behind him or whatever. Then, you know, yeah, I think Broja, you know. Give him a chance. Why not? We don't give many people chances, do we? Like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's a lot of talk about the academy lads not going to be given an opportunity moving forward because of the Chelsea going back to their old ways. But you know, Armando could prove everyone wrong because. You know, one academy lad coming through this season might might just do that, and I think Armando might have the opportunity, especially if we only get Erling Haaland or one striker, because it's a long season. It's a long season, and if Tammy Abraham goes, regardless of who we get in, you know, Haaland, Lukaku, whoever. Because one striker isn't even enough, because we're getting rid of two.
Yeah.
So we need 2 strikers, and I think you know this could be a good opportunity for Borja, and I think maybe that's why he signed that contract, because you know they told him the right things. They said to him, like, you know, this is a chance for you, and you might not get another chance like this in the future. So
I think Tuchel looks at Haaland, Havertz as a number 9 though, and that's the thing. So I think even if you get rid of a Tammy Abraham and we get a Haaland, I think you'll see Havertz as like maybe a potential backup. Obviously Werner as well, but yeah, why not give Broja the chance, man? You know, get him involved, and yeah, probably that's why he has signed that contract. You know, this is a big opportunity for him. And just be serious. As much as we go on about Tammy Abraham and his short sort of stint in the first team, do we think he's good enough to sort of excel and become the main man that we need? Do we honestly think he can do that on a serious level? Because I don't.
yeah, I mean, listen, I've been an advocate. I'm getting some feedback. Bobby, can you check your mic? 1 second. Yeah, Bobby. Yeah, it's Bobby. In regards to Tammy Abraham, I had an issue with him. I really had an issue with Tammy Abraham when he was playing for Lampard.
Yeah.
And you know, I called it lag. Tammy Abraham was lagging on the pitch. He was always a second too slow to be in the place he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he'd get there, but he was a second too slow. Now that happens for 2 reasons. One, you're too slow physically, or you're not quick enough in reacting to the situation. And I think that's this problem. He wasn't able to see things quick enough, and that's why he was a little bit too slow. So Tammy Abraham, in my opinion, is not the finished article, and he's far from being that. I don't think Tammy Abraham will ever reach the level that we want at Chelsea Football Club. You know, a lot of people comparing him to Drogba, etc., etc. I think he'll be a good player. I mean, I think Tammy Abraham will be a decent striker, but not for Chelsea. Not for a top tier team. I want to give Bobby a chance to come in on this. Bobby, how are you, my man?
Hello, guys. Hi, good evening. I was a bit late, but
no worries, mate. No worries, Bobby. No worries, mate. Bobby, we're discussing the striker situation at Chelsea Football Club. And we're discussing the different options that are available to us, the different scenarios that we could see happening. Erling Haaland, it's like a roller coaster. One day he's coming, the next day it's mission impossible. All right. The other options, tier 1, tier 2 strikers are being discussed. Different scenarios are being discussed. Armando Borja, Tammy Abraham, Kai Havertz. The options that are currently in the team. What's your thoughts on Chelsea for next season? How are we going to fix this problem that we have when it comes to converting chances and scoring some of them goals?
Yeah, it's on a personal point of view, Baggy. I've always been constant. I've always felt and said that for Chelsea, it's Haaland or nothing really in terms of getting players in. Yes, we've got Broja signing an extended contract to 2026, which is fantastic for the lad. We still have Tammy, yeah, and it's likely we will let him go as soon as we can sort this thing out. I went on GNA's Gem stream earlier, and I felt, you know what, if we don't get Haaland, I think what we're going to be is creative with what we've got. I'm not too sure we're going to go in and just buy anyone. I don't really see Chelsea doing that because there's no one out there really to be had. Yes, people talk about Danny Ings and so on. I don't know if we're looking at him. And with the sort of manager we've got and with the academy guys that we still have, I think that the solution to the sort of, if I may use the term, Declan Rice CDM position that we're looking at, I think he's going to use one of the academy lads. He might become a bit creative with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We've been saying this for months, actually, that the rumour was, 3-4 months ago, that Tuchel was going to bring Ruben Loftus-Cheek back to play in a more offensive role. Now, if that is yet another false nine, I don't know. But we will be in a sticky position if we don't get Haaland. But I think we'll be creative. And typical Chelsea, when we're in this sort of situation, we come up with something and we surprise everyone. So,
I concur with you and with Jem in respect to, Chelsea or Tuchel is looking at players to come in as more attackers, like number 10s. You see, if what Jem said in regards to Havertz is accurate, and Tuchel sees Havertz as a number 9, as an attacker in that kind of context, then he is going to need to fill that hole in the back, and and Loftus-Cheek can do that. Maybe even Barkley can do that, because apparently he's quite impressed with Barkley. And we know Barkley has good pre-seasons, but then things kind of go pear-shaped moving forward. So hopefully he isn't fooled by Barkley's form in pre-season.
He's a deceiver, Barkley, man. That's what
he is.
He's a proper deceiver.
Barkley can have a blinder, and then the next game it looks like he's the one who's blind, and it's a weird one. This comment here by Brian. You know what? I've seen a lot of stories that talk about Werner being offered, and Werner could be going. But to be honest, I don't think that is going to be the case for any of the players that we got last season. Ziyech, Werner, Havertz, Chilwell. And I'm talking about the key players. I mean, Malang Sarr, maybe, I don't know, as a loan. But for the players that actually took part in the Champions League winning season, these guys, I can't see them being offloaded for whatever reason. Because Timo Werner, in my opinion, he is a solution rather than a problem for us moving forward. I think Timo Werner could open a lot of opportunities for us, because right now, we are not going to be getting rid of strikers or attackers unless we have to. And when I say have to, I mean Tammy Abraham contract expiring, replacing him with someone tier 1 or maybe tier 2. So I know, Brian. This comment that you've suggested has been published. I'm not sure if it was expressed, but I did see it in a few publications. So I just don't think it's accurate. And I think a lot of news is inaccurate surrounding Chelsea over the past few days. I think a lot of journalists are clutching at straws, trying to generate stories from nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, we had, what was it, 2 days ago? I even made a video about this. Haaland was asked a question and he didn't reply. That was a massive story for that day. Everyone was talking about him. He smiled and he walked off. Big story. That's not a story, but that's what I'm saying. People are making mountains out of molehills when it comes to Chelsea Football Club.
They're always trying to look for a sniff, aren't they? But yeah, go on, boy.
Sorry, Cameron. I think you're right. We have to be very patient as fans with this one, because why this summer transfer feels so different to last summer's is that we only need about 2 players really, apart from the goalkeeping situation, and we need marquee. We can't go low. We've got to go for the cream. So the creme de la creme, as it were. So it's going to take time. It's going to take strategy. Chelsea have never been, even before Roman Abramovich, they've never been this thing that Man United do, do their business on Sky Sports News. You got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming up on Sky saying, "Oh, we're just about to buy so-and-so. Oh, pretending, we don't keep quiet about the players we're going for, but we got Jadon Sancho lined up." This silly stuff. He's singing like a canary, and to me, it shows. I don't know. I don't like it. It just doesn't look classy, and I'm sure that's why they end up looking silly sometimes. Because when a player doesn't come to you after you've made all this noise, everybody knows about it, and it just looks a bit off. Like with the Jadon Sancho situation last season, they didn't get him in the end, and now they're coming out and they're saying they still haven't quite got him. So it's really funny. If someone comes and steals him, they're gonna look. They're gonna have egg on their faces. So we're not there. We don't do things like that. But that upsets journalists because they want to know. They want us to give them a story. We're bang silent, so they start spreading rumors.
Yeah. No. The thing is with Chelsea Football Club, we put emphasis on these things. I mean, one of the reasons why we are reluctant to sign Lukaku is because we sold him, we let him go, and we're looking at how does that make us look. Getting him back for 100 million after we let him go. So the optics is important for Chelsea. It's important. While as Man United, it's different. I mean, I can't wait. Seriously, I can't wait for the seasons to start and to get some of these managers and giving my reaction to some of their comments. Because Oli has some great interviews, man, and I can't wait. I can't wait to hear him talking about his team and school dinners and things of that nature. I just can't wait.
Guys, can I ask one question? And it's gonna really put the cat among the pigeons, as I think. Okay, what if we don't get Haaland, right? We don't get any other player, then suddenly we drop 100 million and pick up Chiesa. I wouldn't be too upset with that, I wouldn't be too upset with that at all.
Yeah, but Juventus are not entertaining that whatsoever.
No.
They've already came out and said that they won't even talk when it comes to Chiesa, and I don't really blame them, to be honest.
I don't blame him either.
He's a top youngster. He's only going to get better, and his value for me is just going to keep going up. 100 million is just the beginning. When you look at someone who
Do you know who
we could have had him for 20 last season.
It's painful, isn't it?
Euro tax, isn't it?
Do you know who he reminds me of? Roberto Baggio. You know, he's in
Yeah.
that mold. He's a mixture between Roberto Baggio and this Alessandro Del Piero. You know, those high quality older, you know, back in the day Italian players, skill and just he's beautiful. I love that player. I really do. And it hurts me that we didn't get him.
I see Baggio in him, but Del Piero no, because Del Piero was more technical. He had more finesse about the way he moved.
True.
Baggio was faster. Baggio was more direct, aggressive. Chiesa is that. Chiesa is direct. Chiesa is aggressive. But Baggio was one of those artists. You know, the way that he played, the way that he positioned himself, and the way that he handled himself, the way he carried himself. Del Piero was something special. Special. Yeah.
Class players all the same. And Chiesa, he is going to be a world beater.
Yeah.
He is already.
Chiesa. One of the attributes that he has is, and the commentator picked up on this when he was talking about him in the England match, is the lack of fear. You know, he doesn't fear. He doesn't fear the occasion. You know, he plays the game as it should be played without fear, and that's a bonus because you know Italy were behind for most of that game, and you know he wasn't playing like he was behind.
Yeah, the other thing that's so good with him as well is his ability to be able to pick the ball up and put balls in the corner, literally top corner, and make it look so easy as well. And he's done it a number of times, and not just that, it's the ability to be able to get the ball at his feet and know in his head that he's got the beating of the man in front of him every time, and that's the kind of player he is. He's just so direct in his game, and when you're direct, you're one of them players that defenders have nightmares about. They have nightmares. You don't want to play against players like him on a daily basis, you know. And he's only going to get better. And the thing is, he's only so young. Even though how old he is, how old is the guy? He's only a youngster.
I hear he's 23.
Yeah, you know, all right.
Yeah, early 20s. Early 20s.
You know, early 20s. He's got a long way for him. You know, a great footballing career to go on for him. I saw you, so we have to see.
Bobby, your question. I want you to answer it, man. I want you to answer it. If we don't get Haaland, where do we go next season? Because and when I say where do we go, I mean what can we expect? Because this is the problem right now. And I mean this, I'm addressing Bobby, but you know Jamie, Jem, I wanted to get in on this as well. Right now, our expectations is Champions League football, you know, to get at least, you know, in the semi-final, final, if not win it again, hopefully. Premier League to be challenging for that title. The rest of the, you know, Super Cup, you know, all of this, we want this. We want all of this, all right? So, if we don't sign Haaland, what should our expectations be in regards to all of these trophies?
I would have concerns.
Wait, Eric Blue, welcome to the stream.
Hi, Eric. I would have some big concerns because we forget that, yes, we won the Champions League and we did extremely well when Tuchel came to take us from 9th into the top 4. But towards the end, it was a struggle. And, you know, when the injuries and suspensions and the tiredness kicked in, we started to kind of wobble a little bit. And when we weren't putting away our chances, we were leaving ourselves really vulnerable. Now, if we repeat that next season with teams knowing us just that little bit better, we'll be lucky to make the top 4. We'll be right back where we were. So I do have deep concerns about that. We need a finisher. We need a class-proven finisher. But I think, yeah, I mean, we'll make do. If we don't get one, we'll be creative and, you know, do something with our youngsters. It might work, but if it doesn't, we've got a problem.
I think the one thing
before Jem gets in on this, lads, in the chat, tell me what position you think Chelsea will finish this season if we don't get a striker of Erling Haaland's level, tier 1. Erling Haaland, Lukaku, Lewandowski. If we don't get a striker of that caliber, where will Chelsea finish this season? Jem, carry on, mate.
I think one of the biggest things that we have to understand, and I think it's important to understand, is that we have a great manager. We have a manager that's managed to be able to excel players to these levels that, I'm not going to lie, certain individuals I didn't think they were capable of doing, and that's something big in itself. And yes, people could say it's to do with systems, etc. And I agree, it potentially has done. But Thomas Tuchel is a very good tactician. He's already outclassed Pep 3 times in a row, as we know. We have a very good squad as it is of what we've got at the moment in terms of depth. In certain areas, we're very strong. Can we go through all 4 competitions and still compete with what we got if we don't get a Haaland? I think we should do. And the reason I think we should do is because of purely just because of the manager we have that's, at our club. And if we can just get Werner burying them chances, and if we can get Havertz, scoring on the odd goals here and there and getting in double assists, Mason Mount elevates his levels again from last season. Hakim Ziyech wakes up and starts, contributing and picking them balls out. We have a good enough squad to not win, but I wouldn't say win and be all big about it, but at least be up there and challenge. In terms of winning a trophy, I think we still should be winning a trophy with that squad, whether it's an FA Cup, Super Cup, whatever, a Carabao Cup. Whatever it is, I think the squad's still good enough to do that. I agree we still need a striker, don't get me wrong. But I do think we can still move forward with what we have, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for having me again. I've just been listening to the chat. I only managed to get on the stream now. But yeah, the only thing you could say about Tuchel, if you want to criticize him, the main criticism you could say is that he isn't scoring. The team hasn't scored enough goals. We played 19 Premier League matches and we scored 25 goals. So that's nowhere near good enough. I think we can get top 4 without the marquee striker, but we probably. I don't think we would scrape top 4 because I think we're like 10 points behind City since Tuchel came in. So we got the second most points. So he increased the win percentage, but we might not scrape top 4. We will be able to get top 4, I think, but I don't think we will be able to challenge for the title without that goal scorer. But like Jem was saying, the players have to step up. We expect the players to improve from last season. So if they improve, that should help us with the top 4. But I still don't think whatever improvements they make will be enough for us to challenge for the title. So that's the way I'm looking at that. Yeah, it's interesting. And obviously the system change as well should hopefully help us score more goals. But yeah.
I think when it comes to our situation with Holland, I think Holland is obviously the man for the job when it comes to scoring goals. He's proven it with Dortmund. He's proven it everywhere he's been. His Champions League goal tally speaks for itself. But the problem I see with trying to win or even get top 4, I think we should really be getting another centre back as well. To be honest with you, really strengthen up the centre back. Like Thiago Silva's, he's pushing on. Azpilicueta is pushing on. If we're playing 3 at the back, we need someone else to be able to come in if someone gets a knock or anything. I don't think we're too strong at the back. Because we've seen the last season, Thiago Silva picked up a knock. If we're playing 3 at the back, you need depth. And I don't know. I think the likes of Varane, if he goes to United, I think it's a shame that Chelsea didn't try to get him. I honestly do think it's a shame that we didn't go for him. So when it comes to top 4, Holland is a main man. You want him to. We need to be burying goals, but we also need depth in the back.
Yeah, no.
That's a very strong point.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. The defensive aspect, because really, if we are not going to secure a striker, then we're going to have to tighten up at the back. And if we're going to score 1 goal a match, if we're lucky, then we're going to have to not concede a goal. We're able to do that. We've done that. But moving forward, like you said, Jamie, which is you're spot on. Thiago Silva, he's getting on. Azpilicueta, he's getting on. We're looking to sell Zuma apparently. Apparently, we're looking to sell Zuma, and apparently, and we have sold Fukayo, and we have sold Gerhi. So, it's a little bit worrying when it comes to how we're looking in regards to the defensive situation. Is Chelsea? Sorry, Eric. Is Chelsea in the market for a defender? Apparently, no, because we were, but right now, all the focus, all the talk is about Declan Rice and Erling Haaland. And to be honest, I don't see either of those players being signed by Chelsea this window. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, especially when it comes to Erling Haaland. And I definitely hope I'm wrong if it's Declan Rice. Sorry, and I hope I'm right if it's for Declan Rice for the price that West Ham want for the man. So we have a problem in defence. If we're going to continue playing three at the back with the two of our players aging, Bobby, Eric, and then Jim.
Yeah, that's a very good point about the centre back. I'm hearing rumours about Tuchel liking Malang Sarr from what he's seen so far. Remember, we do have Mbayamba in our sights, although I haven't even seen him in pre-season training, so it looks very likely that he may still go out on loan. I haven't yet seen, and I have doubts over this talk about selling Zuma, especially as we weren't in for Varane. If we were in for Varane or what's the other guy? Matuidi. Sule, I don't really rate that much, but maybe even him. But there's that guy that Topsiba. Topsoba. If we were in for the likes of them, then I can see Zuma going. But without that, I really don't see the point or the sense in getting rid of Zuma. You bring up all these new conundrums, don't you, to strengthen, because there's an old saying that you can't do the same thing and expect a different result. We're looking to be Premier League champions next season or this coming season. We can't do it by just having the same squad. We've got to at least strengthen it and try and correct the areas with which we were poor last season. We know about the striker. Defense, that's a very strong point. And if Tuchel has seen something in Malang Sarr, maybe that's our solution. Who knows? Time will tell.
I disagree with it, to be honest. I don't think the defensive aspect is our biggest issue. And the reason I don't think it is because you look at what Thiago Silva done last season. Yes, he's aging, but the level that he was still putting in, the performances that he was still putting in, I don't think a Thiago Silva a year later is going to be too much different. I think the only thing I'd worry with Thiago Silva is just, he might pick up the odd injury here and there a lot more. And so from that perspective, I think rotation is important for him. You can't have him playing each and every single game. But you look at Christensen and the levels that he's been elevated to under Tuchel, that in itself has helped us.
And the Euros.
And the Euros as well. That in itself has given Tuchel more stability from a defensive aspect. I agree with Zuma. I don't see Zuma going anywhere. But at the same time, I think Zuma struggles in the current style of formation that Tuchel plays. He's much better in the back four than he is in the back three. Why? Because he just can't distribute like the others can. Rudiger has elevated his performances since he's been under Tuchel, and it works. Reece James, I think, is actually going to be moved back into a right centre-back role eventually. I actually don't think you'll see him play as much as a right wing-back. So in terms of Aspi, who I think we've got to admit he's been Mr. Consistent for a very long time, I think you'll still get them consistency patterns from Aspi. I agree that he might not be the same player, but he still was very good for us last season. So what I'm trying to get at is, we can get away with it, and like you said, Malang Sarr, if Tuchel decides to keep him there as backup, is another option. I think we do have enough there to get through another season in my eyes. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think definitely in terms of the central midfield aspect with Jorginho, Kante and Kovacic, the fact that Billy Gilmour's left on loan, that's an area that worries me because we know Kante and we know Kovacic can be injury prone, and obviously then just the striker aspect. So I think a defensive aspect we can get away with it for one more.
Yeah, I think the defense is the strongest part of the team. I understand the whole issue with Thiago Silva potentially getting injured, Dave getting a year older, maybe a little bit slower. But especially if we change to a back four, and we are able to replicate how good we were defensively last season, I think we should be able to manage. We should be fine. Part of that is the fact that Zuma didn't play too many games last season. So if we switch to a back four and Zuma can get more involved, there wouldn't be that risk of people missing out for extended amounts of time. So even if Thiago Silva is out for like 2-3 months, Zuma can get step in and help us. So I think the defense is probably the strongest aspect of the team based on just the stats and based on how well they've played. But I think that goal scorer is the number one priority. We can always talk about things we can improve, but the most important thing is the goals. We need to score more goals, especially if we're trying to win the league. If we don't get the striker, for me, we can't challenge. If we don't get that, goal scorer, the proven, clinical goal scorer, we won't be able to challenge. So that's the way I see it.
All right. Do you guys? Firstly, Rashid, welcome to the stream. How are you, Rashid?
Welcome.
Yes.
Rashid, you're on mute.
Mute, yeah.
Sorry. Yes. How are you, team? Chelsea FC, how are you? How are you doing?
Fine. We're doing good.
Actually,
We're doing good.
Yes. I'm really honored to having joined Baggy TV once again. It's an exciting platform today. And just because I heard about the 50 million bid that we are soon putting up for Robert Lewandowski, I knew we had to have that conversation today. And I was more to listen from Eric because actually you were talking about the defense. So I was listening more to first hear about your aspect about us pursuing Robert Lewandowski as a striker that we are soon initiating, leaving alone Erling Haaland. Just because
Rashid,
of the cost,
there's a little bit of an
high.
audio issue with your. Carry on.
Yes, now are you getting me?
Yeah. There's a bit of a delay, and it's breaking up. But carry on. I want to hear your point. Carry on.
Okay, now actually I'm just talking about Eric's point. Eric has been actually analyzing the Chelsea's defense as giving Zuma more time and changing to back four with time. But I was more of listening about his forward aspect of us. Actually, when we bring in a striker like Robert Lewandowski, what will happen? Is it good to change to a new striker or Robert Lewandowski, or we can go back to Erling Haaland? So you didn't talk about the aspect of us looking at the forward of the team. Then too, when you look at the defense of Chelsea, I don't think, according to me, I don't think Zuma can be one of the contenders of the Chelsea super team if we had to look at the Champions League and the Premier Leagues, because I think if you had to pursue a new defender like for example this Jules Koundé as well as Rafael Varane, I saw we entered a deal and we have Sarr who came from FC Porto. I don't think based on how Zuma possesses the ball is really good. I think we should cash into Zuma to get more money and put it onto the striker because even Gueye left. So I think we should look at collecting more money to buy a striker this time around and a wing back. That is it. Thank
Okay.
you. I'm just soon listening to each and every member's
Sure.
opinion today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for your feedback, Rashid. Appreciate that. But I have to say, I disagree with with some of the things you said there. Getting rid of Zuma and giving Malang Sarr more playing time. Zuma is Premier League. His Premier League experience is valued. Is important. I think Zuma is a little bit lacking when it comes to the back three system. He's more comfortable in the back four. And I think Tuchel next season needs to mix it up a little bit. So I think we will see Tuchel play a back four and a back three in various different matches, various different formations. Tuchel kept the opposition guessing with his team selection this last season. This upcoming season, I think just his team selection is not going to be enough. He needs to keep the opposition guessing with his formation that he's going to play. So I think having a player like Zuma who is able to play in the back four better than maybe Rudiger, he might be an option. And again, yes, Thiago Silva is aging, and yes, he is still a very, very good defender. But I think the issue in respect to injuries is a big factor when it comes to Thiago Silva. We saw him get a couple of knocks this season, and I think also Kante, which I think we should address the midfield now. Kante is also likely to be injured this season. God forbid, he picks up an injury early on in the season. We're going to be quite strapped for good box-to-box DM players, and at that point, the first thing we're going to be thinking about is why the hell did we loan out Billy Gilmour? So I think that the Declan Rice story could be tied into that. I know some of the guys were talking about Declan Rice and talking about the fact that he should be a serious option moving forward. We definitely need to strengthen in midfield as well as in defense, especially if we are going to have a variation of formations. I wanna ask Bobby. Do you see Chelsea sticking with the back three for the majority of the season, or do you think there will be a back four incorporated more than we saw? I mean, we did see a back four, being incorporated midway through a game, but we didn't really see a back four start this season under Tuchel. What's your thoughts on this, mate?
You're right. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see the first pre-season game. It may have given us a little insight into that. But I'm never worried with formations because I've seen Tuchel change formations so efficiently in game that whether he starts with the back three or back four seems irrelevant. The opposition just can't, they can't place him because he switches.
But team selection kind of has an impact on that.
It does. Will he start with the back four sometimes? I would like to think he will next season. I would like to think he'll be that flexible as he's proven himself to be in the past with other teams. So the simple answer to that is yes. I also concur about the midfield. It is a little worry, but I see a solution even from within, unlike the striking situation. I think there are players from our loanees and academy that can be converted into that CDM role. We have Ampadu, we have even Ross Barkley, love him or hate him. He seems to be able to turn up sometimes, especially when you've got a new manager, and impress him. We've got Ruben Loftus-Cheek that I really believe Tuchel is looking to use in very many unique ways next season. And I'll surprise people and say, don't be surprised to see either Ruben playing further forward or somewhere in and around the pivot. He's going to be that inventive with him. We've got players, we've got Conor Gallagher that can play there. I hear that he surprised people a bit in the pre-season game, and he used Jake Clark-Salter at centre-back, then suddenly switched him into CDM. as we do in game. We've often had Rudiger go forward into that position. We've had Zuma in some games, and of course Christensen all go forward into that position when we've been the back three and we've been on the offence. And in order to prevent the counter-attack, the middle of the back three or one side of the two in the back three would move into CDM along with the pivots to turn us into a sort of 2-4-4-2 situation. So there's a lot we can do. I think we have to wait and see. I'm of the view with you, actually, Baggy, that I'm not sure the Declan Rice thing will happen anymore, simply because he has such a long contract with West Ham and they're asking such silly money. I don't think we would be that silly to pay 80 million for a Declan Rice. You know, he's not worth it. And it would surprise me if we ever do that. But the strikers, well, it's left to be seen. Lewandowski.
I'm just gutted. I can't understand, and I really can't understand. Maybe Jem, you can explain this to me, but I can't understand why Billy Gilmour was sent out alone. Why? We need him.
There is no explanation for the reason of allowing Billy Gilmour to go, because, like we said, if we're going to go and spend 80 million or 70 million on a DM, then I'm surely the board are expecting them to get game time, right? Or expecting them to play. Now, is he benching Jorginho, Kante and Kovacic? No. So what was the point of doing that and then going to spend silly money, if we are going to do that, to bring in someone that's potentially going to be fourth choice? I would have just kept Billy Gilmour. I'd have used him for rotation. I think what Bobby's right. I think what Tuchel will do is he'll use this pre-season to see what individuals are, could fit his system, could work, could help Chelsea in certain games, and maybe that is within sort of the midfield area. Maybe we don't need to sign anyone in that area, and it is within. And I, it'd be nice to see us look within rather than just always have to go out and buy what we think are the best players in them positions. You know what I mean, all the time. So I think it's going to be telling, but at the same time, just quickly going back to the system thing. The only way I feel like you'll see Tuchel switch it up is if we sign a striker, and I keep saying this. I think it depends on how the striker we bring in, because if you bring in a Haaland, I think it allows you to divert and play different formations. The reason I think Tuchel played the three at the back so much last season and stuck with it is because in his own head he knew that we struggled to put games away or even score many goals. So if we ain't going to score many goals, what's the natural thing to do? Be strong at the back. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's going to be important that it's going to be very interesting to see if we bring someone in or not, and that will determine what Tuchel does next season with formations. Yeah.
Regarding this comment, from what I understand, Gallagher is not going to stay.
No.
I think he's going to go out alone.
Well, I hope we don't sell him. Well, we might sell him. It just depends, doesn't it? Just depends what we.
I wouldn't be against selling him. I think he's a very good player. I think he's talented. I think he has a good future ahead of him. But I think from the players that we already have in the first team, and the players that we can that we have access to, I think Gallagher will probably be very similar to some of the tier 2 players that that we have. I think he's not the Mason Mount level, the Kai Havertz level, Ziyech level, and I don't think he will be. I might be wrong. I could be wrong. So selling him, no issues there. Sending him out alone, no issues there. But is he the caliber? I don't know. I'm not so sure.
Yes.
He said yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Rashid?
Yes, sir. Actually,
Go ahead.
Yesterday, I've been seeing some news on Sky Sports going around. Gallagher would be actually loaned to Crystal Palace, but I also support that just because we have a number of talent in the midfield, including the coming back of Ross Barkley, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, with additions of N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic, add on our left and the right wing backs like Marcos Alonso, Reece James, Ziyech, Havertz. So we have a lot of talent that is really experienced in the Premier League than Gallagher and other fellows who actually performed in the last match, because I had was it Bobby talking about the formation we used and with Backsalt and Sarah in the back. But now I think Gallagher should be sold just because we have a number of big talent within the midfield. That's one. Then two, sometimes for a team to succeed to take big trophies like Champions League, Premier League, you don't have to be with a pit of skillful players on the pitch. We need to be with some of aggressive players who don't know too much of the skills. Then we be with those who are skillful. That's the reason why this time around I would propose that if Chelsea can actually pursue a deal into Haaland to come to Chelsea or Lewandowski, it would be good for us. Then too, if you look at the point you talked about, Mr. Baggy, you talked about Zuma being given some good time. But I was initially talking about us pursuing a new defender, either in the names of Rafael Varane or in the names of the Bayern Munich actually left out defender. What is his name? This big German guy. Actually,
Sule.
yeah, Sule, Nicolas Sule. Actually, if we buy those two, I think we could cash into Zuma because we have over 7 defenders, including Andreas Christensen, who is a bit young, Thiago Silva, who is 18. We have Rudiger, who is a bit strong. We have Emerson Palmieri, who has just improved during the Euros. Then we have Marcos Alonso, who is also pending. We have Sar, who is actually good to go also, just because he's still young. So we just need Reece James, César Azpilicueta. So we just need an addition of players who are good in air, who can pass the ball based on Tuchel's formation. Then I think, as you asked in the beginning, that which formation do you think will really work for us as Chelsea in the coming season, this season? I would tell you that actually Antonio Conte won us the Premier League last time using a 3-4-3, actually to confuse the all Premier League coaches actually to land on it by that time. Remember, we had Victor Moses playing a wing back on the right wing back, but it confused a number of coaches to fail to beat us. Remember, we didn't have even skillful players like Havertz and Ziyech. But this time around, I know when we go back with that formation of 3-4-3, we are going to beat teams. Even if we adjust this a bit, actually, I think it may go to 4-3-3, but we are going to win a lot of teams this time around. The only thing that we have to improve on is one, to buy either a defensive midfielder this time around, a new one, then with a striker. Those two people are really enough for us, for Chelsea to win. Then another thing of why they didn't show our match, actually they didn't reveal the pictures in this match that we won against, was it Petersburg, 6-1. Maybe it's because they feel like they didn't want to express on how the people lined up. I don't know, but I need to get more opinions about it because we really wanted to see. But going on to the 50th stand of Chelsea, it was on the pictures. Nothing didn't came out very well. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, no. Listen, I wanna address two things in regards to the midfield. We are light on the DM, CM midfielding section. Central midfielders, defensive midfielders, but on the attacking midfielders, we're quite heavy. We've got a lot. When it comes to the DMs, the CMs, if we have 1 or 2 injuries, we are in trouble. And that is why I was uncomfortable to see Gilmour go. And I think Gilmour should have stayed, and he will perform better. He will improve. And he has shown that he has the ability to develop and to improve. Similar to Mason Mount last season. The season before last, and even the season before that at Derby, and even when he was at Vitesse, you can see that he has the ability to get better. Gilmour's showing that as well. There's a comment here by Stefan. Sorry, one. Stefan, what is it saying? It's saying Gilmour is an exceptional talent. Sooner he goes on loan, then be sold. Listen, sorry, Gallagher. I agree. Gallagher is talented. Gallagher is a good player. But I don't think Gallagher is the same level as the Mason Mounts, the Kai Havertz, the Ziyech, in the attacking role. Gallagher is an attacking midfielder. He is not a central midfielder or a defensive midfielder. Gallagher is an attacking midfielder, and I think he's not there. Well, could he get there? Yeah, he probably could. He may do that. He may be a better player for for the future, but right now he's not there yet. So it's a difference of opinion, and people see players differently. But I think in regards to the attacking aspect, we're doing okay. We have enough players. It's the defensive aspect that I'm a little bit concerned about. Eric, you wanted to get in on this? Eric Blue?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead, mate.
Yeah, I was trying to check my I was having issues with my sound. Sorry. Gallagher. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think he will get a chance. It's just a difficult situation because Gilmore has left, but yes, we're not happy that he left. It doesn't make too much sense why he got. He's gone back. He's gone out on loan, but at the same time, he wasn't playing a lot. So it's a difficult balance to be able to. We can't risk his development because he's still a young player. So he needs the game time, and we just couldn't.
Eric, I know where you're going with this. Send him out. Let him get the game time. Let him get the experience. Let him become the player that he can become. And then the following season, we'll bring him back, and then we'll utilize him. That's the point they're trying to make. But the point is this: if we are going to get a DM to come in, Declan Rice, as an example, Shumeni, if we get another DM coming in, will Gilmore be given an opportunity next season when he comes back from that loan? Because we've had somebody playing this season who's become established. And that's my concern. I think, yes, going out will give him the exposure, the experience. But at the same time, it's going to restrict him when he comes back in because we have a gap. We are going to get someone to fill that gap. And that is going to be the problem.
The same problem we have with all our youth academy players, isn't it? It's the lack of opportunities. But this is what people need to understand, is that what Chelsea have been built on since Roman come in is to have instant success. And there's been limited opportunities for youth players to come in and shine. If you look at what Mason Mount's done since he's come in, it's because he's taken his chance and he's elevated his levels, is why he's still in the team and he continues to grow. And he's only, for me, he's like a one-off. You look at Reece James, Reece James is another one, He went to, who was he at in the Championship? Was it Wigan? Yeah, he went to Wigan, had a good season there. Got bought over from Wigan. Everyone saw that he had abundance of talent, and then took him into the squad. But other than that, it's very blimmin' limited, and it's purely down to the fact that we have this way that if instead of relying on the academy or giving them the opportunity to progress in our team, it's no, we need to win now. And look, if we was in the position that Arsenal were in, where we were finishing 8th, 9th, 10th in the league, I would then say, well, give the academy a chance, because we're not spending the money. We're not showing that we want to compete and be up there with the best at the time, and that's the only way I see that we give the academy players like Conor Gallagher the opportunities, is when we're not on on all four fronts trying to compete for everything. And that's what it is. We're challenging at the moment. We haven't got time to allow players to just come in and dawdle along and hopefully they might be good. It's just the way Chelsea are and the way we have been for a very long time.
I'd like to say that yes, it would have been good for Gilmore to stay. I think I was one of those that was advocating for him to have a sort of Phil Foden experience. But he's gone now, and he's gone for a reason, and he's gone, and part of that reason is for him to play regularly and to develop. Chelsea is not going to hold down a position in mediocrity, hoping for a player to return and just slot in. We will put the best we can find there. And if you come in and you're better than that best, or you provide us with an option that we can't look away from, you will walk into that team. Where, you know, we're looking, we have to be the best, and we have to have the best in our team. And if you don't cut it, you don't cut it. Mason Mount is such a perfect example of that. We brought in Havertz, we brought in Ziyech, we brought in Werner, and we already had Pulisic. And the temptation was, when the new manager came in, to drop Mount, which he did. But when Mount got an opportunity, he showed he was undroppable, and he's been undroppable ever since. Now, if you want to sort of play with mediocrity and that, then these guys can go and play for West Ham or Spurs or Arsenal or some team like that. But if you want to be rubbing shoulders with the likes of Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and the top teams in England, it's only the best that's good enough. And that's the challenge in front of our youngsters. It's a brutal world out there. You know, we love them, we want them to be the best, but if they're not the best, then they go. It's sadly as simple as that.
All right. Before I respond to that, Bobby, I want to say a big thank you to Abdulaziz for continually donating to every stream. Thank you very much, Abdulaziz. Really appreciate that. And you know, I don't know what to say, man. You know, I'm speechless. Every stream you're donating, thank you. Really appreciate it. Bobby, in regards to the youth, we had a transfer ban. And Eric, I want your thoughts on this as well. I mean, I'm responding to Bobby, but I want your thoughts on this as well. We had a transfer ban, and that transfer ban became the catalyst to Chelsea acquiring and utilising a lot of the players in the academy under the guidance of Frank Lampard and Jody Morris. Jody Morris being in charge of the development squad for quite a while, he was able to identify and to pick the best players from the academy to come in to the first team. Now, a lot of people are saying that will never happen again. And some even went far enough to say, we wish Chelsea would get another transfer ban in order for us to do this. Which is ridiculous. That's ridiculous because, yes, the academy is part of our organization, part of the Chelsea establishment. But the academy is there for a reason. It's there to develop young talent, and that young talent have two routes. Route number one, good enough to play for Chelsea, play for Chelsea. Route number two, not good enough to play for Chelsea, to be loaned or sold to generate finance for Chelsea. That's it. No other option here. Either you're good enough and you will play for Chelsea, or you're not good enough and you will be used to generate funds for Chelsea Football Club. That is it. Now, if you are good enough, you are given the opportunity to prove that. Either when you're out on loan, because a lot of our players are given an opportunity out on loan. Either when you're out on loan you show it, or you don't show it. And I think a lot of players, a lot of fans are not seeing this. They think that, you know, when we're putting these players out on loan, Chelsea Football Club forget about them. Don't scout them. Don't look at them. Don't, see what they're doing. On the contrary, Chelsea Football Club do see what they're doing and do get reports and do get feedback. And unfortunately, some of these players, they went out on loan and they didn't get an opportunity to prove themselves. And I'm talking about here on Pardew, when he went to Leipzig. Okay, he didn't get the opportunity. And then he went to Southampton, was it? Last season? Was he at Southampton last season?
Sheffield United.
Sheffield United. Yeah. And Pardew is one of those players that Conte loved, and Conte believed that this guy could be the next big thing for Chelsea. But it hasn't panned out that way. Now, we all like to see certain things happen, but that's always going to be the case.
Yes, Randy.
Yeah, Sheffield United, Taiwan. Yeah, go on, man.
Yes, now what happens is actually, it's not that actually we don't utilize our talent within the club. But I want us to a good look at our talent before we criticize our management. That is to say, if you look at the talent of Foden of Manchester City, and you look at the talent of Jones, Jones of Liverpool, you look at the talent of Declan Rice in West Ham, though he was with Chelsea. These talents are really exceptional, like the one of Billy Grammer. Actually, one of the mistakes we've made, I will talk about Billy Grammer. Us leaving Billy Grammer go, it was a really big mistake. I don't know how they're going to cover up with that loophole, but it was really a very big mistake. Though we talked about recovering, at him getting a lot of time, that doesn't matter. It's him to develop within the team. Actually, before that, we have players like Christensen. He has been with Chelsea for a long time without even playing, but he has developed into one of the best stronghold of Chelsea. Two, we have Zuma. Zuma has been with Chelsea, but it depends on the coach, the tactics of the coach, and how he's going to play within the team. So, us leaving out number of players not to play for us like Carragher, those of J. Cummings on the bench, it wouldn't even matter because if you look at the quality of the Premier League players within the top teams, it's really greater than some of those players for sure. Can Gallagher play in Manchester City or United? No. Can Billy Grammer play 90 minutes in Liverpool or Manchester City? I would say no, but for sometimes he can at least play. If you look at Ruben Loftus-Cheek,
I will have to disagree with you, Rashid. Billy Gilmour, every game he's played, he has produced. Every game he has played for Chelsea, he has produced. I think there was one game where he was substituted, even though he was performing better than Jorginho. I can't remember the game, but he was taken off.
Man City.
Yeah, and me personally, I think Billy Gilmour does have what it takes. Billy Gilmour does have what it takes. But I agree. Not every player does have that. Not every player does have that. And the thing is, it's the club. The club needs to utilize the academy for their benefit. Listen, we can't be sentimental. Chelsea Football Club is a business. It's a business in the realms of entertainment. Football is a sport. It's an entertainment. Chelsea Football Club have to run this club to entertain the fans, to entertain the fan base, the people who are subscribed to the club. Now, how does Chelsea Football Club do that? They have entities. They have the marketing team. They have the development team, the first team, the women's team, the academy. The academy is part of this. Now, for us to be sentimental and to say this player needs to be given an opportunity, that player needs to be given an opportunity. Well, we can say that as fans because we see certain attributes, we see certain reflections. Me personally, if I see a player that is from the same area that I grew up in, went to the same school that I went to, I would like to see him succeed and I would like to see him achieve certain things. Personally, I would like to see that. So for me to push for this player, I have the right to say that. I have the right to do that. But as a club, what the club does is what the club needs to do to move forward, to gain finances, to gain fame, to gain sponsorships, to gain a bigger market share, to gain a name. Why do players want to go to Real Madrid? Why do players want to go to Barcelona, to Bayern Munich? Because these clubs over a long period of time have had success and they have made names for themselves, and that's what we're doing right now. That's what Abramovic is doing with Chelsea Football Club. He is building a legacy for Chelsea Football Club moving forward. Don't get sentimental about X and Y player, because X and Y player, they play for our club, and we need to support our club and these players to do what is required for our club. We can, we can have attachments to the players, but Chelsea come first. Chelsea come first. Sorry for cutting you off there, Rashid.
Yes. Now, if we look at all the players that we have within the Chelsea's academy that came from loan, actually those players are the players that can play from all the teams in the Premier League, beginning from number 4, which is number 5, which is Tottenham Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur, Everton, Leeds, Wolves, all those teams actually, all those players that are missing like Chaloba, coming, they can play for all those teams because right now the quality we are looking at is a big quality. We are looking at a player who can produce sales in terms of marketing, in terms of bringing in big deals within the organization because football itself is business. We are looking at a player who is going to attract higher market value and who is going to attract a very big fan base. If you look at all the Chelsea players, including those of the newcomers like Ziyech, the criticism of Timo Werner, yes, they criticize from other fans, but we like them. And actually, we know their weaknesses, their strength. That's the reason why you always see Gallagher should go, Chaloba should go, Sarah should go. But I believe there is an opportunity to give some of the players like Amado. I think Amado, if you know Amado, was today, I think today or yesterday, he signed a 5-year contract with us. So I think as a player who can be given a playing time this time around. Two, and Sar to be maybe on the bench to develop because last time with FC Porto, I think you saw how it qualified from Juventus. The guy played really well to mark Cristiano Ronaldo after the game. And you know those teams from Portugal, they play a lot of defensive game like those ones of Italy. So I think this time around, if you are to give playing time, it should be given to two players, and we look at other players like maybe either Rosbach or what is his name? This who was in it's called Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Yes, one of the two should remain. Then we look at strengthening, either getting maybe one defensive midfielder because you don't have any. Sometimes I always feel like there is a risk when N'Golo Kante is sick. Sorry, when he gets an injury, I think sometimes Jorginho slows a bit in terms of running in case he gets players who can pace him like. You saw how Son did. Then at the same time, like this guys of Wolves, this Adama Traore. So I think we need a defensive midfielder who should come in this time around. He may not be too much expensive, but he may come in. Then we need maybe a new striker who may not even be. He may be this Norwegian guy, but I think Robert Lewandowski is good because we have people who can create for him. And that's the reason why I think Chelsea wants to make a swap deal between Callum Hudson-Odoi and this French winger is called
Coleman.
Yeah, Coleman. So I think if that deal goes well and we bring in Lewandowski, it can be really good to go.
Rashid, the Coleman deal doesn't make any sense. The Coleman deal doesn't make any sense because of the injuries that Coleman has, the lack of experience that he has in the Premier League, and he doesn't add anything that Callum Hudson-Odoi doesn't already have. So Coleman, that story for me is a non-starter, me personally. Lads, in the chat, I have put a poll. Tell me if you think we're getting Haaland in the poll. So far, 67% yes, 33% no. So in the poll, let me know. Bobby, you've been quiet for a little bit, man. What do you think?
Yeah. Sorry, I think your system's too powerful for my phone, and it keeps overheating, and I trip out. Or is it the weather around me? I don't know.
The weather's probably, yeah.
But I've forgotten what we were talking about now. Strikers.
Listen, Bobby. Two elements. The first one is the story that actually no. Let's talk about three. Lads, I'm gonna introduce another topic, and that is the topic of Harry Kane, because Harry Kane is apparently gonna go on. What's the word here? He's gonna do an AWOL. He's gonna do a Courtois for Tottenham. He ain't gonna turn up to training apparently.
Oh, nice.
So what's your thoughts on that situation? And could Chelsea sweep in and pick up Harry Kane? Could he be the surprise that we've all been waiting for? Number one. Number two, do you see the Haaland situation, the Haaland transfer as dead in the water, or do you think there's still life into that? And then the third one is the Coleman swap for Callum. Do you think there's any legs to that?
Yeah, well, one thing I really want to kill dead, if I can, you know, when I say kill dead, because it's still up for conversation, is the Koeman Callum thing. Makes no sense. I think
Agreed.
it's journalists, you know, looking for stories to pin on Chelsea, and it's not going to happen.
Agreed.
Now, Harry Kane is a funny situation. Now, Spurs don't like dealing with us. We don't like dealing with Spurs. We're arch enemies as well as arch rivals, especially after what they did with us with the likes of Modric, which was almost unforgivable. So, if on a reasonable platform, I would have no hope for the Harry Kane deal. But this guy has come out and said he wants to go. Now, if you know, it's still left to be seen. I truly believe that the Haaland deal is still alive, and there are talks ongoing, and there's strategy as to why it's taking so long. You know, Chelsea cannot afford to be, you know, to splash the cash visibly, and be, you know, and make the deal a quick fix, because we've got other things that need to line up vis-a-vis financial fair play, vis-a-vis other players that want extended contracts, more money, and so on. So many things have to fall in place before we announce the Haaland deal. But I think that's going nicely. But if it isn't, if we drop 150 million, 150 million quid, I mean, we talk about money in football as if it has as if it's monopoly. You know, we're talking 150 million quid here. If we drop it for Spurs, they're going to pick that up. I know Kane has, 4 more years on his contract as well, or is it 3? But really?
3 or 4, yeah.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, Livy's a businessman. You know, you can't hate your market so much that if they give you the money, you don't take it. You know, everybody's money can be touched. Do you know what I'm saying? So Kane is possible. It all depends on whether we're ready to shell out the money on him. You know, and you know what I personally think is he's not in our sights. I think the Haaland deal is progressing behind closed doors. But if Chelsea suddenly do a 180 and turn to White Hart Lane, drop some real money like 150, he's coming to Chelsea, mate. Unless he says no himself, which I doubt, you know, because he's got to think of risking the wrath of the Spurs fans. But,
Sure.
you know, I can... that could be the coup of the century.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the lads in the chat, 71% think Haaland is coming, 29% think he ain't. 72-28. 72% think he is, 28% think he isn't. Oh, now it's changing. People are changing their minds. But yeah, you know, the at least the chat seem to think that there is hope for Haaland coming in. Eric, give me your thoughts on the 3 stories: Kane, Callum, and Koeman, and also Haaland. Give me your thoughts on that.
Yeah. I don't think we will get Kane. I don't. Yeah, Harry Kane is what's the word? It's impossible. Let's just put it like that. There's no way that Daniel Levy will sell Harry Kane to Chelsea. He would rather sell him somewhere else for a loss than sell him to Chelsea. That's what I think. In theory, it could work if you put down the money. It could work, but I don't think I'm comfortable with spending that amount of money on Harry Kane. I know how good he is and everything, but he's not. He's yeah. I just have some concerns about him physically. You know, I know he's not injury prone or anything, but he gets injured. You know, every season he gets injured at least once. And I was hearing about his ankles. Apparently, his ankles aren't they're not the strongest. You know, each time he gets injured in his ankles, I think his ankles get weaker. So I'm not sure that is the signing we want to be going for that kind of price. It makes a lot more sense to go for a much younger option who is producing the numbers as well. If you consider how good Haaland is right now, and he's just 20 years old, or maybe 21 now. He has a very high ceiling. When he's Hurricane's age, he'll be on a different level. So I'm more comfortable going for Haaland for that kind of price. That's what I think. What else was you? What?
Coleman and Callum.
Right. Yeah, that's a very funny one. I can't even pay attention to that too much. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not happening, man. Kingsley Coman he's a good player. He is a good player, but the deal just doesn't make sense to me. It's not going to happen. I'm not interested in this. Yeah.
There is no there's nothing to gain by doing it. There's
Yeah,
nothing
it
to
doesn't.
gain.
Yeah, I don't. Nah, I don't like it. It doesn't work for me. Yeah, it's very weird. We're seeing a lot of weird stories. These are just random.
I mean,
yeah.
listen, Eric, we call this, and you know this. You've been a man long enough to know this. We call this silly season. The time before the first ball is kicked, and the last ball is kicked in the season before that. That time, you hear so many stories, and most of them are just waffle. But the level of waffle that we're hearing this window is crazy, and maybe it's because of the last window. Chelsea did so much business that we became used to hearing big marquee signings happening day after day. Literally, we had a marquee signing happening every week for like 8 weeks. While now, we haven't heard nothing since the window opened, and other clubs are doing business. And that's the problem. Other clubs are doing business, and Chelsea apparently isn't doing business. Rashid, why is Chelsea not doing any business, mate? Tell me.
Yeah, thank you very much. When we have to look at the business perspective of it, sometimes in most cases, we have to look on the areas of improvement. Now, right now, other teams, yes, they are doing business, but they didn't spend a lot last time. Chelsea spent a lot of last time during improving itself. We bought almost 6 to 7 players. Now, this time around, we need only 2. But to go for those 2 are really good. We have to invest in a lot of money, and each team that we go to buy these players, actually, they know Chelsea has money. It won Champions League, finals of FA. Actually, we've sold some players, so they know we have money. Even if you go for a player, recently I saw the news of Jules Conde that actually maybe Chelsea wanted him. These people actually hiked this guy to around 70 million pounds. We looked at Declan Rice. When we go for him, they always hike prices to around 80 to 85. So when you saw actually last time when we were going to buy Ben Chilwell, they had hiked him to around 90 million pounds. So I think Marina is just looking on how to minimize costs, not basing on the name or the brand of Chelsea, because people think, or because these other clubs think that actually Chelsea has money. So we need to be really, this time around, very, very critical, because if we were like that, then I would buy even flops. Like in the recent years, we bought a number of players through that, like Danny Drinkwater, who thought he was good. Even he deserved to be being bought around at 20 million, bought him around 40 to 35. So this time around, I think it's just because teams are actually hiking prices of their players. When Chelsea comes in, then 2, it's like we need to improve those areas of concern, like this, like the way how Tuchel said we need 2 or 3 players, only those areas of concern. That's the reason why this time around we are looking at those critical positions instead of hurrying, putting cash and bring them at whatever cost they may ask us. That's my opinion. Thank you.
All right. Cheers. Listen. Last season, last summer transfer window, 100 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 trans apparently there was a lot of entities within Chelsea at play. Marina Granovkaia, Petr Cech, and Frank Lampard. Apparently, Frank Lampard and Petr Cech were calling a lot of people. And let's not forget, Agent Rudiger. All of these, the stories. All of these are stories that had a part to play in the last transfer window. That being said, these elements are different in this transfer window. And I know one person who has been looking and following a lot of these stories quite closely, and that is DJ Sav. So I want to say, firstly, happy birthday, DJ Sav, and tell us what you're hearing about the transfer market this window.
Big up to you all. Thanks for having me on as always, Baggy. It's a pleasure being on your show. Thank you for the birthday wish again. It was a great day yesterday. I was a completely good day and a complete smashed evening. So I would have not been up for any streams last night. But going back to this whole situation with the transfers, I mean, it's at the moment there's just more frustration in the air for me as a fan at the moment, seeing anything else. And I just think at the moment, if we seem to be this club that seems to like throwing our managers under the bus at the moment. We seem to win a big trophy instead of like kind of strengthen our team the following summer. We just seem to leave it the way it is, leaving transfer business for the last minute. Our targets don't seem to be we don't seem to be getting our targets that we want. And what's frustrating me more is the news that were going around today, especially, I mean, not only just the Haaland scenario, but the whole situation involving Callum Hudson-Odoi. I am getting sick and tired of him being used as a make weight for a lot of these deals today. First of all, obviously, I saw the information. The proposed deal, obviously, that Chelsea were doing with Odoi, Abraham for Haaland. That was not. It's not even been done, but that was a proposed offer that we were going to make to Dortmund. And then I'm seeing today Kingsley Coman for Callum Hudson-Odoi. I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, why would you go and sign an injury-prone player? Okay, Odoi's had his injury, okay, but he's fitter. He's back to normal. He's not had as much injuries as this guy has had. I think he's a better player than Kingsley Coman, and he'll just prove to be that if he ever goes to if he ever does move to Bayern Munich. I think all this today is just really, really, as a fan, frustrating me. I've been trying to keep an eye on a lot of it today. I've seen so many links with Lewandowski today, apparently 50 million for him. I just don't know what to believe anymore, to be honest with you, Baggy. I really don't know, mate. I'm frustrated like a lot of the other Chelsea fans, including yourself, are. I know on Gems TV today, I know you were on Gem TV today, on Gem's channel today, you and Bobby. I know you guys were saying things on there as well about this whole thing today. And big up to Gem, by the way. It's just so frustrating. It really is at the moment. I still believe in my football club. I still think Roman needs to come to grips and get involved with certain deals here, because what I'm seeing now is just frustrating me. Marina, I can tell you guys right now, if nothing happens and we end up getting rid of players and not bringing anybody in, getting rid of what I'll call fan favourites to some degree, and no one is coming in, it's going to be Marina out. You just know it's going to come. And this can be avoided if she gets her hands out of her pockets and just starts sorting deals out. This board needs to sort something out. You know, and I can't believe with Thomas Tuchel at the helm, we can't get these players to the football club either. I, for one, don't believe it. And sorry, going back to the whole Cho thing, Thomas Tuchel's already said he doesn't want this guy to go anywhere. He says he's part of his plans next season. And yet, they still want to go behind his back and involve him in deals, Cho, that is. This is what's frustrating me as a fan and not seeing anything coming in. I don't know what you guys think, but just for me at the moment, it's just frustrating.
DJ, do you think that this is actually happening? Or is it just media talk?
I don't know anymore, to be honest with you, Baggy. I mean, I follow a lot of stories. I do have various people that I do listen, that I do get some info on, and I do go with some of them on what they tell me. But this thing with Cho, I don't believe it is. People call it media talk. I don't know anymore. A lot of people were streaming. A lot of people from different outlets today were streaming this today on Twitter, and it was sort of mentioned on quite a lot of streams today as well. So something must be there in it all. I know they all say they listen to what others say, but I mean, I really don't know. I mean, for me, it's just frustrating at the moment, and I just think for the moment, at the moment we just seem to be we're going to be left behind, guys. At the moment, I'm seeing all the other clubs doing business, and at the moment we just seem to be left in the lurch of not getting anybody in at the football club, and I don't know why. We're European champions. It shouldn't be hard for us to attract players. We're a big name in the game. No, we're based in a high place in London. I really just don't understand what the situation is. Are we just waiting, as Chelsea tend to do, of getting these other players and these other clubs to do their business, and then we're going to come in and completely knock everybody out of the water and get Haaland over the line? I don't know.
I think that, can I respond to this one?
Yeah. Please do, Bobby. Yeah.
DJ, I think you are expressing a position that the journalists that I can assure you are more frustrated by their inability to get stories out of Chelsea want to put fans in. You know, they're flooding the media and social media with all sorts of nonsense, silly rumours, fantasies, negative things, connotations to the club. Like, you know, some of the players that we've been linked with, you know, do the club no favours whatsoever. Like the Koeman situation, you know, things they put things out there trying to destabilize players, make them feel that their positions are under threat, and so on. There's a lot of mischievous stuff going on out there, and it's silly season, and we need to just ignore and have faith in our club. Having said that, I do think, you know, I've been one of those that have put a question on Marina. I don't fear to do that. You know, I don't think her gender should have anything to do with it, but I think it does influence the way the fan base treat her. You know, we treat, you know, our ladies, maybe, you know, rightly so, with gentle gloves, but you're in a bear pit and you've chosen to come into that bear pit. And so, you know, a lot of your sort of female privileges are gone. You've got to perform. This is big business. And I think there's a weakness there. She doesn't know how to do a lot of things with strength. And I don't say that in a derogatory way. I just say that from what I observe. You know, a lot of the media mischief making, some of it could be put to bed by, you know, leaking a few stories here and there, putting people a bit on the right track. In order to stop that. But, you know, they don't seem to have an eye on the media side of things at Chelsea. And it is important, at least for the psyche of your fan base, who are sooner or later going to start buying season tickets again. You know, there's a lot to all these deals. However, in defense of Marina, I appreciate that this is a very difficult and complex transfer market situation. We're looking for a marquee that's going to cost us a lot of money. And we're looking to do negotiations that we really don't need to get it out there, you know, in case it doesn't work. And also because of the impact it will have on the other players in the team. So patience is the key for us at the moment as fans. And we've got to turn our ears off to a lot of the silliness. 1 minute Koeman's coming, 1 minute Lewandowski's coming, 1 minute Kane could possibly come, 1 minute we're after the, you know, it's all madness. I try and switch off to it. I limit a lot of what I listen to. You know, these days I like Jem. You know, I go and go onto his stream. Obviously, Baggy is the king.
100%.
Max Burton, you know, he doesn't stream so much. People like that. Even to be fair to him, Terry Fleurs, the football terrorist. He's not a Chelsea fan, but you know, the guy talks a lot of level sense. You know, he likes his members. He likes, you know, his financial contributors. So he doesn't get a lot of people coming out to talk. You know, if you're not doing that, you don't talk on his stream. And you know, I don't like to be held to ransom by anybody. I do things as I please, and you know, good luck to him. You know, it's all there. But no, be careful what you listen to, just for your own sort of, for want of a better word, mental health. Because until the deals are done, they're going to play with your emotions for sure.
Do you know what? Sorry, back. Can I just answer that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what? Generally, guys, you guys generally, I mean, generally, you guys have known me for how long? How long I've been going with streams with you guys now? You know, I don't believe everything in the media. I just I'm one like Max Burton, and I'm one. Always say until the player's actually holding up the shirt, I believe the transfer has been done. I just think I guess this is more frustration. I'm just kind of like showing out there at the moment because it's just disappointing. I guess seeing my club hasn't done any business, and I'm not debating what you said, Bobby. I 100% agree. I'm not one of those Marina at all. I think she's working hard behind the scenes. I think we are keeping our.
We lost your audio.
Business.
We lost your audio, DJ. DJ, your connection is breaking up. Hello, DJ. Nah, DJ, we've lost your audio, mate. Reset your connection.
We will get. I just think a moment in case listening to some streams and other fans on there, hearing their frustrations.
You're gone. DJ, your connection is breaking up. If you can hear me, just go out and come back in again. I want to address one final topic before we conclude the stream. We've been going for 2 hours and 11 minutes. So one final topic, and that is as follows. Chelsea had a friendly match that was played behind closed doors against Peterborough that we won 6-1, I believe. Hakim Ziyech getting a hat-trick and some goals by the rest. Broja, I think Tammy got one, and there was one more. Who got the sixth goal?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear DJ.
Ziyech.
Ziyech got three. Ziyech got three.
Ziyech,
Armando
Tammy,
got one. Tammy, and there's one more.
Armando.
Who was the third one? There was one more.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a funny one. Who was it? I don't know. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. Abramovic requested Brighton to send him a private feed of that match so he could watch it. Abramovic wanted to watch the pre-season friendly with Brighton.
Peterborough.
That's his... Peterborough. I said Brighton. Last season was Brighton. This season is Peterborough. Yeah. So they wanted, Abramovich wanted to see that match. That shows something. It shows that the man is really interested in what's going on at the club. Day-to-day activities in the club. Pulisic. Yeah, that's the one. Pulisic got the third goal. Nice one, Gabriel. Yeah, so the fact that Abramovich is looking so closely at the club, these stories about him greenlighting this amount of money, that amount of money, he wants Haaland. I guarantee you, Abramovich is interested in this Haaland deal. I guarantee you. But how interested is he in this Haaland deal? That's the bit that is a little bit iffy for me, because he knows what's going on, and actually not he knows what's going on, because of him going on is what's going on. You know what I mean? He is interested in this thing happening. I know it for a fact. Okay, because like I said in my previous videos, no smoke without fire. There's a hell of a lot of smoke when it comes to the Erling Haaland thing. So what do you guys read into his interest in watching that live stream of the Peterborough game? Is he? I mean, he can get a report at the end of the game. This happened. XY player scored. XY player assisted. XY player made had a good performance. But he wanted to see it himself. I'm going to give Eric Blue the chance to come at this first.
Yeah, not sure what to say, man. He's always interested. Like, when people assume that he doesn't know things, he knows everything, man. He's like the everything that's happening with Chelsea, he's aware. He knows about every single detail, and that's the kind of owner he is. He's involved with everything. So there's nothing he's not aware of. The funny thing is, I wonder how he would be if it doesn't work out, because he wants this signing. He is personally invested in making it happen. So that's the main reason why I think it will happen. But it's difficult to say what exactly will happen, because I'm assuming I don't know if I'm assuming he doesn't want to spend any amount of money he doesn't need to. So I'm sure they have their plan. They have an idea of exactly what they want to do. But the match you're talking about specifically, I have no like. What were you saying? He went to a match.
Pre-season. Chelsea played a pre-season match yesterday.
Yeah.
Day before yesterday. Now we're past 12 o'clock.
The 6-1.
Yeah, so we won 6-1. It was against
Yeah.
Peterborough and it was played behind closed doors. Abramovic requested a feed because the game was recorded. It wasn't a public for us to see.
Yeah.
So he requested a feed so that he could watch that game. Why would Abramovic want to watch a pre-season friendly against Peterborough?
Wow, that is news to me. I don't think it would be the first time. I think he I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if he's done that many times before.
Oh,
But
yeah. Oh,
why?
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I've got to land here. Chelsea Football Club is not only Roman Abramovich's club and passion, it's his life. He really is into Chelsea. It's not about making money for him. He loves the club. It's his passion. It's him. He's every little bit a fan as much as we are. Roman, when he was allowed in the country, used to go to pre-season games, youth games, women's games. He's everywhere. He's really into his club. So this is not unusual. It's just he's not physically around, so he can't get, and it wasn't streamed or put out on television, as it were, that, he couldn't get to see it. So because he's a rich man, he ordered it to be filmed just for him. He's that interested in Chelsea. Every aspect of Chelsea he loves and he wants to do well. So I'm not surprised by it at all, and neither should any of us as fans, because he's there. If you've ever, Baggy, when the lockdown and that is all eased, pop round to the youth games, and if Abramovich is allowed back in the country, which I hope he will, you'll see him. You will see him, definitely, especially when it comes to like cup finals and things like that. He's there. He's always there.
Yeah. No, I'll be doing that. I'll definitely be doing that. I want to give you guys some vlogs from some of the fixtures. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. We'll have to wait and see. I've got a lot of things planned for the season coming, but I'm not sure what I can and can't do just yet, depending on logistics. But hopefully I'll be able to get some of the things that I have in my head to pan out. Now I know that Abramovich has this bond and this interest, but I was gonna the thing is, could we read something into it in regards to this transfer market, or is it just the norm, DJ?
No, I get what Bobby just said. Baggy is 100% true. I mean about Rowan, he's 100% in this deal. I think he wants to get this deal wrapped up. I do believe he can get this deal wrapped up. It's just Dortmund are a very hard team to negotiate with. That's all. I think we've seen that with Jadon Sancho to Man United over the last couple of seasons. I think it's the same thing with Haaland. They keep saying that they're not going to budge on him. I think if the money was thrown in their faces, they will sell. And I think Roman is working on this deal. That's why we're probably not seeing any more other moves happening with Chelsea Football Club at the moment, because I think this is the priority signing he wants to make, and the others will probably be bought in from sales of other players. So, yeah, I agree with Bobby. I mean, I've seen Roman Abramovich at matches. I mean, when I've gone and seen him when I've been at Stamford Bridge, you can see him sometimes when he was when we could see him in games. The way he used to cheer, the high fives he did to the people around him. The man he loves Chelsea. I don't doubt that for 1 second at all. And his passion for the football club says everything. If anybody wants a proud owner of a football club, anybody would love Roman Roman to be the one who owns the football club because of his passion for the club. And I think this whole transfer thing with Haaland, it will happen. It's just taking more longer than probably what he expected. But I think he will get the deal wrapped up. He did that with Kai Havertz after all. He got personally involved and Kai Havertz ended up joining us. I think he'll do the same with Haaland. So I think, 100%.
But Kai Havertz, let's recall some of the events of the Kai Havertz story, and let's see if we're gonna see a I don't know if we're gonna see it mirrored with the Haaland story. Do you guys remember Kai Havertz started to do some tweeting that kind of turned heads, and then after he started doing them tweets, he started to see it in his body language. You know, the team would go on the pitch and he would stand a little bit away from the team. In the tunnel before a game, he would be, standing next to the wall while everyone else is in a symmetrical line together. His sister started tweeting about, Havertz looking to get a place in London, etc., etc., etc. So leaks were happening. We could see, the Kai Havertz story. There was leaks happening, and then even before anything was announced officially, the Bayern Leverkusen side of things started leaking stuff, and then Petr Cech started giving out hints. All that happened before anything concrete was put out by Chelsea Football Club. Right now, we haven't seen any of that. We've seen a lot of rumours, a lot of talk, a lot of journalists talking, but we haven't seen anything, not even an indication. I mean, you could say Erling Haaland wore a blue T-shirt when he was at the farm, or he wore a checkered blue shirt when he was out on holiday. But that's just banter. There's nothing to suggest that there is something in the works. I personally would love to see the story pan out, Erling Haaland coming to Chelsea. But do you guys think this is really going to happen? I mean, Bobby and DJ, because I know how deep you are into these stories and how much time you guys give these stories. So, do you really believe this is going to happen? Because me personally, I'm starting to have doubts right now.
Yeah, there's room for doubt. But it's natural for there to be doubt because we're not magicians. We can't see into the future, and we're not members of the Chelsea board, so we don't know what's going on. So we have to go on gut instincts on what we know about the club and how we know we do our dealings and the signs in and around the deal. The fact that nobody has come out with a complete denial of the deal is enough for me to have hope that this deal will happen. You've got to sometimes pin your colours to the mast. I'm pinning my colours of blue to this mast, and I'm going to say that Erling Haaland will be a Chelsea player this summer.
Yeah, I mean, again, Baggy, echoing everything Bobby's just actually said. I can never ever disagree with Bobby because he just talks so much. You just know Bobby's talk. You just know. I agree 100%. I think this deal for Haaland will happen. It's going to take a bit of time. I think no one's. I mean, as I said, nothing's been put in place at the moment. We've got to remember it's only been a proposal. That's it. No deal. No offer's been made. And I think as and when we are ready to make this offer, I think you find it's probably going to be cash anyway. No plays involved. And I'm still confident this deal can actually happen. I really am.
Yep. Eric, how's your audio right now?
Yeah, I think we're back. I was wondering why I was having issues, man, because I've got a mute. I've got two mute buttons basically. So one for my mic and one for the computer, and the one for the computer wasn't working. So I just quickly restarted it, and everything's fine now. So that's good. That's some positivity there. Look, we have to be positive as Chelsea supporters. We're in a very envious position. That's the truth. The future is very bright. We have a lot to look forward to. The Holland thing, the main issue is there will be more there will be more competitors for him in the market next summer, but that's the main issue that we have potentially, because if we're just looking at things without taking prestige and all those things into account, it makes a lot more sense for him to join Chelsea than any of these other clubs. You know, Madrid are not the team they used to be. Barca are nowhere near where they used to be. You know, so we should still be in a favorable position. But the thing is that these clubs are just very historical, you know, clubs with a lot of pedigree. That's the main thing that puts us at a disadvantage, you know. But if we don't take those things into consideration, we shouldn't even be concerned about not getting him this summer. You know, somehow Man United managed to do that with Jadon Sancho. Nobody really challenged them for him this summer. Hopefully we can do that. Whatever the case, like I genuinely feel like it's just a matter of time. I feel like we will get him at some point. My major issue is not whether we get him or not, even though I'm concerned that we might not get him. I'm thinking that if we do get him, or should I say when we get him, I want it to be a long-term thing. We need to make sure he stays for at least 4 years. For me, I want him to stay for at least 5 years. You know, 6 years, win all the trophies he can. Yeah.
I think with the type of money we're paying, it's not going to be less than 5, 6, maybe even 7-year contract because of the amount of money we're paying.
I mean, even if he gets sold, you still want that kind of contract so you can sell him out for a lot of money. That's the whole point of the situation. Just because it's a 7-year contract doesn't mean he can't get sold later on. So I would really like that.
I would start off with a release clause of 350 million. You want him? Pay that money.
I don't know if we do release clauses in England. I'm not sure if that's a thing, but we could ask for that. You know, it's crazy. I was speaking on another stream, and I was saying that we could sell him for, like, I know we don't want to talk about selling him before we even got him, but we could sell him for over 200 million. And you know, as much as we don't want to say, if we get him in the end, which hopefully we will, as much as we wouldn't want to sell him, that's the way the club runs. The club likes players to have a sell-on value. So
I don't want to be talking about selling Haaland until we actually sign him. So
exactly. Let's not
whatever. I wanna.
Sorry, Baggy, quick question. Can I just address a comment by a guy called Gabriel in the comments? He's coming out saying that I'm like an Arsenal fan, I change like the weather. I just want to reiterate something. I wasn't crying about the whole Haaland situation. All I was basically saying at the beginning of the chat was that I was just a bit worried about how business was going. But I never ever said on here that Haaland was never coming to Chelsea. So just to let you know, Gabriel, I'm no Arsenal fan, like changing like the weather. Yeah, I'm a massive Chelsea fan and season ticket holder. And I wouldn't change my mind on anything. I love my football club. I just want to see what's best for my football club. So I just want to address that quickly, Baggy, on your comments, yeah?
Sure. I want to also add something to that. Listen, things are always going to be changing. Reports are always going to be changing. You know, one day we're hearing one thing, the next day we're hearing something else. And like I think Bobby said, we don't have a access to what is happening behind the scenes, either at Dortmund or at Chelsea. So, you know, for us to want something, for us to believe in something, for us to address a certain story or a certain topic, it's natural and it's the right for every Chelsea fan to discuss these things. I've made videos talked about a certain player. Being a good signing, being a good prospect, and then he's come in and he wasn't all that great, and vice versa. So these things happen. We can talk about a player, we can talk about how good he is, how bad he is. Look at Tony Rudiger. Last season, everyone was dropping down like a ton of bricks on them, man. This season, everyone is bigging him up, and everyone, saying how good he is and how much of a great player he is because of his performances. Okay, does that mean everybody was mistaken when they were criticizing him?
No, of course not.
No, of course not. He wasn't playing to the level that he's playing today. Therefore, we criticize. Okay, Erling Haaland, the deal today, I said today, I think the deal is becoming less likely. Now, if Erling Haaland was to be signed by Chelsea, am I gonna, oh, I said it's unlikely. I made a mistake. I got to change my. No, I will say, welcome to Chelsea, Erling Haaland, if we do sign him. All right, it doesn't matter. We're here to express a point of view. Okay, based on the information we have today. Tomorrow's information will be different. I'll guarantee you. Tomorrow's information will be different. And we'll be talking about tomorrow's information.
Exactly.
And the day after that, and the day after that. So, if you know who DJ Sav is, if you know what DJ Sav has contributed, I'm not going to talk about other channels. We'll talk about Baggy TV. All right, DJ Sav has been immense in his contribution to Baggy TV. From the beginning, from the very early days of Baggy TV, DJ Sav has played a massive part in this channel. Okay, he's got things wrong. I've got things wrong. Everyone gets things wrong. We move on. It doesn't matter. So, Gabriel, I know you've contributed to Baggy TV in the past as well. So I hope you can understand this. Everyone here is entitled to their opinion and to their point of view, and I respect everyone, and I ask everyone to share it here on Baggy TV.
And just one thing as well, Baggy. Listen, I'm a banter guy. Listen, I'm a banter guy myself. I love bantering with all other fans. Yeah, I do it all the time myself. Yeah, and maybe it is banter. Maybe I'm sorry for that guy, Gabriel. Don't take it in a bad way. I'm not being in any way whatsoever. All I'm just saying is that, like all of us are sitting here, I just want what's best for my football club. But please don't. I know even though it's banter, but please don't ever put me towards saying I change like an Arsenal fan, because an Arsenal fan even put me with that, even associate with that football club. No way. Definitely not.
There's a difference between changing your opinion and just being a wishy-washy fan, some of these Arsenal fans.
Yeah, I've got to lend my voice to this, please. I mean, Gabriel, Gabriel, we're not coming after you, but we've got to say DJ Sav is Chelsea through and through. There is absolutely no mistake about it. And he's our son here, so let's have that right.
Big up to him. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for that, guys, and big up to everyone in the comments, by the way, including Gabriel. By the way, respect you as well, my man.
Absolutely.
Thanks for that.
Big up. Listen, lads, we've been going for 2 hours and 33 minutes. Wow.
That's a transfer record, isn't it?
That's a
transfer.
Good
omen. That's a record. So
I've done one close to 3 hours. I'm not sure if it's longer than this or shorter than this, but I've done one close to 3 hours. I got to wake up early as well. I got to wake up in about 6 hours. So lads, this stream has been fantastic. It has been fantastic. We had Jem in earlier. Who else did we have in earlier? I'm starting to forget. Rashid and somebody else. I can't remember. Anyway, it's been a fantastic stream. And listen, everybody in the chat, thank you, including Gabriel. Everybody in the chat, thank you. And listen, it's been a great banter. And I'm good. I'm glad to see Chelsea perspective, Georgie, and a couple of the other Baggy crew members on here. Listen, if you join the Baggy crew, you get emojis. You get some sick emojis.
Yes,
and,
true.
You get an emoji of Erling Haaland, Hakim Ziyech, Zuma, Marina Granovkaia, and Abramovic, the big man himself.
Okay, and Baggy TV, don't forget that either.
Baggy TV is badges. Yeah,
Chelsea, that's what I got.
Yeah. So there's like 7 badges, depending on how long you become a member for. You get different badges. And I've got some sick badges towards the end of the, after you've been for like a year, 2 years. All right, George is smashing. He's smashing the emojis there for you guys to see. So if you would like to contribute and to support Baggy TV, click on the membership button, the join button. It's $2.99 a month, the price of a cup of coffee, and you'll be supporting Baggy TV. So if you do decide to do that, I'd appreciate you. But a great stream. I will be streaming again tomorrow if there is anything relevant. If there isn't anything relevant, probably the after. I'm going to try to do it between every other day. But yeah, brilliant. Thank you all for taking part. Before I go, does anybody want to say anything before I cue the outro?
Up the Chelsea.
Yeah, up the Chelsea.
Yeah.
Up the Chelsea. All right, lads. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for taking part, and I'll see you all later.
Take
Peace
care.
out.
Guys. Peace out, everyone.
Peace.
Bye.
Cheers.